and these electrical connections that seem to be forming from the ground as these things pass over, these clouds stretching up. You'll see these connections that actually break off into these little like counter-rotating visible filaments. See how it's almost like an electrical connection going up, connecting with the passing objects. You got these ones coming from over here. It's like they keep filling in. They'll dissipate, but then they'll fill in. See this little spiraling goes right up in there, shoots right through everything. It's got to be an electrical connection of some. There we have pushing this way, a group of them. Billowing up, so you got one right here stretching out as this is pushing off that way. This is where the actual objects are, up above that's stretching out that way, and everything kind of comes up to meet them. I'm guessing it's some kind of electrical connection they're making with the lower atmosphere. See, like that right there. It's like it's pulling energy from the lower atmosphere. That was it right there. There you go. See, it's got the little bow wake right here. It's illuminated. You can see it. It's pushing. And you got that stuff billowing out from it, which tells you that there is something there. The glowing. See, basically it's moving over. Now it's kind of stationary right there. Don't ask me how these things are doing it. I'm just pointing out what they're doing. It's up to you to figure that out. I just like finding the weird stuff, putting it all into videos. By the main group, there's a bunch of them. See, they'll come over and they'll arc like this as they're passing by. Probably arcing under something bigger above. She got all those little electrical connections down here at the base. You'll start seeing there's one right there, just poked out for a second. It's weird how they do it. They don't just flow in. Some of them don't flow in straight lines. They can stop. They can, arc up and move up. I've seen some basically coming across this way and meet another group that's bigger, and then basically it changes its complete direction and starts flowing with it, like it's being pushed. See right there, they're starting to push across. It's definitely magnetic. It's magnetic, and they move around with, I guess, whatever their electrical potential is with our atmosphere. Depending the size, the charge, polarity will determine how far down they go, what directions they take, etc., etc. Just a guess, anyway. Look at that. Start seeing the shadow start forming. And here he is again. Just pushing across like that. It's going to be somewhere in here behind there. There's going to be one down here, which is breaking the V. See its little bow wake right there. Just pushing across. Going to be a lighter, wider one up in here somewhere. And something happens when the sun starts setting. The frequency of the light, basically, I can't remember exactly. I think it moves into something like teravolts, or something like that. That's why I think the sunsets and sunrises are quite colorful and electric. Alright, I'm going to go through some of my more interesting photos. This one in particular, I'll spend a little time on. You see this big old kind of arc right here. You got this weird kind of straight line. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you what's really going on. First off, you got these little guys everywhere inside here. And see, they're not just bugs that are, just in they're actually the clouds that are around them are affected by them. See, it's pushing in there. This one's right here at the bottom of this. See him right there. They're right there at the point. This one up here in the crevice. right there. It's like they suck the cloud to them. It's this little trail goes up to it. See, they're everywhere. And of course, up in here, they were all over. Cluster of them up there. It's almost like a ecosystem in the clouds. Yeah, they are all marked out. So you can't ever tell that there's those little things in there until you take a high-res photo, zoom in, and actually look closely. Otherwise, it just looks like a weird sky. And like this one, there's a group of them coming in from the top. Already got them marked out right there on that line. See how this thing's starting to stretch out? And like this guy, it's pulling the clouds, like sucking it to it. Little dots everywhere. Yeah, everything goes like these little points. Just weird stuff. Like this, pretty damn obvious, pretty clear what's going on here. You got the nice little trail. You got the ripple wakes, as I like to call them, of the passing objects that are right above. You can actually see through the clouds this time the silhouettes of the objects. A little bow wake up here. And you can actually see a couple of these little black dots. Pretty clear. Yeah, another one right here coming down. Ripple wake, so there's a bunch of them up above there. There it is, right there, a little black dot, right there in the sweet spot. Can't even see the indentation. There's again another photo, still there, right there at the end of this trail. Right there where all this bow wake is, the shadowing. There. Can't get much more clear than that. Still there, multiple photos. Still there. You got like this. Just a huge swarm of weirdness passing by with this one cloud. I mean, look at them all. They're everywhere. Little rods, little discs, little shadows. That was one photo. That's two. Still there. Moved around a little bit. Got a little white dot on that one. All over. It's like they're having a little party. It's like that damn Renaissance painting of all the little tubes and crosses, and I wonder if it was something like this. You see that dark spot right there, that's basically the bow wake of passing objects. And these are, God only knows what, that follow around these groups of passing objects. And they're always, you can never focus on them, they're always a dark blur. The distortion from a magnetic field, maybe. Tell there's one right there about to break through. One right there. Yep, see. Now his trail catches up. See it? It's the big one right there at the front. Yeah. So a lot of these photos are going to have the same thing. They have the trails coming in, the little bow wakes. Bow wake here at the front, and then the illuminated objects coming in. See right there, you got the ripple wakes right there at the front. Ripple wakes, those horizontal ripple wakes are one of the identifiers. Down there, one right there. Right there. See, there's the invisible filament lines that I always talk about. You see them cutting through the cloud. They spiral. There's a little object or something that's floating through right there. They almost act like highways. See, so you have some going up this direction and then these going down. You got the counter rotation going on. It's pushing through this way, that going back that way. It's quite unique the way it moves. Right there, you can see little things in the center, almost like steamers, like little invisible objects from like another dimension that basically pop in for a second and start billowing out smoke or vapor like a clam. Coming in right there, coming in right there. This is that one. So there's that. What I'm thinking is some kind of an electrical connection. Ion bleed off from these larger ones that are up there. You're actually going to see these little lines that cut through. See right there? It's a little trail, a little vortex trail that just goes up. Cuts all the way through. Straight lines cut through the clouds. You got the groups of them that are illuminated. Definitely see it's illuminated bulge. It's not very good words in our vocabulary to describe this stuff, so just bear with me as I try to use terms that people can kind of understand. Separate illuminations as they're passing by. There's a little compression as it's shooting across. Illumination. Sphere at the front of the trail. Bow wake. Got the illumination at the bottom of this cloud. Now this is an interesting one. This is a different day, but it's the same thing, like the electrical connection. See, there's like fingers that stretch up from this, and you even got this perfect oval right there. It starts forming. See these little fingers, like little plasma filaments. Here's the end when you see something like this stretching out. You're going to have one like up there at the front, the nose. Right there. So you got one right there. That's one of them shadow things. Right there. There it is. There's another one. Got to look for those bow wakes and the trails. But they're always usually at the front of these clouds that stretch out like that. There you go. Perfect example. Nice little. This is the pathway that they're traveling on. And that pathway is basically bleeding off, which is what all that fog looking crap bleeding off straight down. There's going to be one right in there. And then of course the big illuminated one at the front. The lead object. And you'll see this kind of stuff a lot in my photos because of my particular location, and what I'm guessing is the magnetic filament lines that kind of bend around my location. These things follow. See right there, coming down, the littler one, and the big one. So I don't just take one-off photos that, somebody could say I manipulated or whatever. I have whole sequences of everything good, not to mention the videos to go with them. So what you see is what's up there. I just make it easier to make out. Still there. Got that. Got the perfect little sphere right there. Dark shadowing up here, probably because there's a planet up there. Got the red illumination right here above the sun. No telling what that is. So these are some funky looking clouds. These invisible pathways spiraling through it. I mean, look at that, clear pathways. I'm guessing it's magnetic filament lines. Just like this right here. See that right there? It goes straight up in there like a funnel. But it's just drawing up energy. You'll have all those little black dot things that are always around these two. This is just a bigger one over here. It's like it pulls up the energy from our atmosphere. Here it is again. It's a good example of one of those. It looks like a funnel cloud, but it's not. See, another one of those little black dots. They're always in there. Sometimes they're visible, sometimes they're not. They move pretty fast. You got a group passing way up here. It's a little pathway that's bleeding off of it. Stretches up to the base of probably a passing planet. This is a funky photo, but it's a good example of one of those craft shooting a beam down, like a shadow beam. Slightly out of focus, but you get the point. Here we go. It's that group, so they'll pass this way, they'll pass that way. Just depends, but this is a group that's pushing over this way. You can clearly see there's this bow wake. There's several of them right here. I'll embed the video of this. What you see. Got the ripple wakes coming off of it. Pathway. Something big up here above it. The electrical connections, as they pass over, they're basically pulling up these columns of lower atmospheric clouds. They're just billowing up to it. There has to be some kind of electrical interaction. There you go. And got the horizontal ripple wakes on the pathway at the front. Yep, little dots are in there too. Illumination. Still there. There's another one. There's a lot of stuff. If you have the view at sunset and you can look, right above the horizon like this and zoom in pretty damn close, you'll see all sorts of stuff at this level, right above the horizon. It's a whole sequence. There's again, you can see its pathway. It's a little bow wake. So it's going to be up here. There'll be another one up there. Then there's this one going that way. This is a big wake washout from another one that's coming like that. See it compressing. Got a little one up there. Bigger one right there. This dark washout wake behind it. Pathways. I mean, you can even see the compression. You can tell there's something there. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Different color illuminations in that pathway. You even got a sphere silhouette right there in that little bow wake. Got another one right there. See it? Some of these photos I actually have the physical objects captured. Red illumination, you gotta pay attention to the colors and everything. Yep, see, there he is, right there. There's another one. They're always there, doing something to hide the bigger objects that are behind. Holograms, obfuscation, I don't know. But they're always with these passing groups. There goes one of their probably black project planes, like one of the hurricane hunters up there scanning the crazy view. The planes always get up crisscross when these things are passing, if they can. See a little illumination point. One right there. There you go, you can see it pretty good right there. Perfect little trail cut through. This little bow wake. Another one of those little craft. Still there, just chilling up. Checking out this guy. There's that plane. Cutting across. You can even see it. I was driving, taking this one. This was the back end of a huge trail of a passing, couple passing lead objects. You see how it pulls up this lower atmospheric cloud. Basically, the little columns will just billow up and meet it as it's passing over. And this is the front. It is right there. The front one, lead one's up there. There's the bow wakes. You can see it. Just barely. You can see it better in the other photos. Bigger one, smaller one. See, just like that. See it right there. You can even see the lead. Yeah, I was racing to try to get home. I gotta get home, get a better position, take some better photos, turn my cameras on. Because this sucker was huge. Yeah, silhouette one. There's one right here. Probably a bigger one right here at the base. You can see it's horizontal. So yeah, it cuts through right here. It cuts a path. It's because there's an object right there. Look at that huge trail. A better example of those little fingers, plasma filaments, and the oval with that little craft right there at the front of it. Look at that perfect oval. See, it's like, what the hell? Freaking sideways egg in the cloud. Oh, there he is. See, he's checking out all the action. I'm telling you, they know what's up. One right there. Perfect egg. It's probably something up here at the nose. Maybe something right there. I don't know. But you can see this has got to be some kind of a connection. That's going to be the base of something up there. There's probably another one right there behind this. Got the Sauron all seeing eye over here. see its little trail, it's a little bow wake. There'll be another one right here. It's kind of creating a spiral because they almost like suck in atmosphere to their other dimensions, you know, creating like a little mini black hole kind of spirals. Maybe one up there. I mean, they're probably all over behind this crap. I'll just point out the really obvious ones. Right there, perfect little eye. Oh yeah. So you got a group pushing this way. You can see its little bow wake. There's a big one of the leads. Got its huge illumination here. You got a physical one right there that you can actually see. It's cutting through this way. Displacing the clouds. Photos get better. There we go. Pulling it up. There's the electrical connections. They go up to the objects as they pass. You got the different color illuminations from the different color objects. Right there. Got its shadow silhouette. Right there. Perfect little connection. And if I had the software to be able to draw what I can imagine, these filaments spaghetti noodling around the planet, going into the crust, out of the crust, you know, probably dropping in right behind my backyard. It's right there, perfect. Really, there's no way to prove this to anybody. You just basically, you gotta look at it long enough for it to sink in. It's repetition, it's repetitive patterns, you know, identical examples from all over the world that you can compare, and over time it builds a perfectly clear picture of what's going on. Trying to explain that to somebody else is pretty hard. It takes time, little baby steps. I mean, you're always going to see this damn arcing path around my house as they pass through it and above it. The clouds billowing up to meet it. And here's one coming in right here. Nice little path. It's got this little illuminated bow wake. You can see its cloud envelope. Just like that. Little cloud envelope. For some reason their bow wakes always illuminate. Here's another example, different day. Group coming in from the other direction, pushing in like that. There's another one up there. Pretty unique cloud. Got the little groups of them probably right there at the front. Probably at each one of these little levels. Watch this sucker drop in from above like that towards the east of me. That's about where sunset rises, or sun rises, and it just, like a flying bird, just swooped in and moved off that direction. I mean, you can tell it's not a normal cloud. You can tell there's objects in it. At least I can. Its pathway. There's one up there. See, they always arc past. This is the same event, different camera. Different perspective. See, this is a group right here. It's basically, these are all the individual trails going to them, that are clusters of them right here as the sun is setting. pathways, objects, pushing through, bow wakes, object. Look at the chemtrail plane. Like I said, they always run a line right to the lead. The lead object is like literally right here. They painted a line right to it, saying, "Hey, here it is, guys. Pay attention." Be another one right here. So a lot of times when you see them crisscrossing at weird angles, that's what they're doing. They're marking for their own reasons, probably. Another little cluster at the front. Yeah, that's pretty obvious group of something coming in up there. Unique clouds. It's just a bunch of little ones coming in different directions. There's that electrical connection going up. And the illumination. This is towards the southeast of the sun that's way over there. So that's not the sun. Look at how this perfect oval and those filaments, pathways, like fingers. After the sun starts setting, this is when the frequency of the light gets into that terahertz, different frequency. Everything just lights up like the electric glow, ionizing it. It's probably like a pool party for these objects. Group pathways. See right there. That's a pretty good sign right there that there's something up above it. Got the horizontal ripple wakes, the big arc. It's a big one passing. Another little clear ion bleed off trail. Objects up front. Object probably right there. Now this is a good example of one of these wakes. It's almost like an ocean wave. So imagine this is a wave from an ocean. You're underwater looking up at the breaking waves. Yeah, starting to do it exactly like a wave does. It just splashes by. That's how I see them anyway. You can see this is a rare thing on this camera too, so when that happens, there's something up there. Some filaments. Drawing energy probably from right there, just like the end of a plasma ball. This, I think, is Ottu's moon. It always has this kind of like white patchy, I mean it looks just like this when it gets close, with its OCGs passing under it. Objects right here, you'll start to see them bust through. Right there, right there. There's going to be some coming this way, but these ones are the prominent ones. So these things are swooping by like that when this cloud is basically charging over you. See right there, there's the lead. They're just arcing over, pushing. There's one up here. So they got some going that way, some going that way. Pushing the bow wake. Shows you there's an actual object there. As they plow through the rest of the clouds. Perfect little bow wake right there. Little electrical connections going up. Illumination. see a lot of these trails. And there's that same one, but one of my security cameras. It's almost got like a gaping mouth. Arced in like that. It's almost got gills like a fish. It's really strange. There's one right there. You can see its trail. Little bow wake. And of course, this is one of the evening of one of those days. Got that spike trail shooting out. So you got the sun setting over here, and then over here you're about to see a dual set of light rays. Yeah, right there, shooting up. So the sun's over here. On the other side, you have this additional light shining up. Sunset. This would be sunrise. Right there, right behind the house. Sunset. Sun rays from something. You got an object right there with its trail. Massive ion bleed off. It's most likely a planet. The light rays. It's the opposite direction. So that's sunrise direction at sunset.